Joining us today is Ms. Samhitha Reddy, the Managing Director of International School of Gems and Jewellery, Hyderabad. It is an institution that has shaped many professionals in this industry. Hi, Ms. Samhitha.
Hi Nitya.
How are you?
I'm good, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Okay, so to begin with, I would love to know more about your personal journey and what inspired you to enter this field.
So honestly speaking, none of my family members come from this industry. We're a very traditional Telugu family, and most of them are not. They don't work in this kind of field. But I've always been fascinated with jewelry, with gemstones, diamonds, and everything. But unfortunately, when I wanted to enter the industry or learn more about it, there was not the right education or guidance that this industry needs. There's no formal education in this industry. Even if you take a look at all of India, the number of institutions that teach this kind of education are a handful.
Yeah.
So yes, they're very less. So bringing this kind of education to Hyderabad, which is currently a very booming luxury hub for jewelry, I thought would be a great space to explore, and would also help a lot of individuals that want to enter this industry.
Okay. And also, I also wanted to know, out of all the institutions that there are a handful of them, but why ISTJs? Like,
so I think the vision of getting Hyderabad's first premium jewelry institute to Hyderabad, I think the vision aligned with the founder. I think he also wants to take this thing global, and we have a branch in Sri Lanka and Uzbekistan. I really like the vision with which Mr. Kalpesh Desai has started it. So I thought this was the right kind of collaboration for Hyderabad and the kind of crowd that we have here. I thought this was the right kind of guidance that we would need, because again, coming to the first part of it, there's not any institutions in this field. So if you want the right kind of education, we need the right kind of guidance, and we're headquartered in Surat. So it is going to bring us a lot of information.
Yeah, and Surat is like
the yes,
the
it is
hub,
the diamond city of the world.
Yeah.
90% of the cutting, polishing of diamonds happens in Surat. So it really brings us not just guidance as the institute, it brings us closer to the industry than we can be from Hyderabad. So it was a great space to start off with, and we're here.
So the jewelry business in the recent times has changed a lot with social media, with technology. So how do you think the consumer behavior has changed over the past few years in terms of jewelry?
I think particularly in South India, people were always interested in gold jewelry. Like they're into Nakshi jewelry, they're into jewelry that is very heavy in gold. They were very scared to explore the diamonds or the silver jewelry part of it, because they always thought there's not going to be any kind of resale value. Because in India, primarily gold is looked as an investment.
Yeah.
When the investment, so for the Hyderabad crowd or the South Indian crowd, diamond didn't seem like a very sustainable source of income. So people were very scared. But until a decade ago, that shift has happened, and more people are investing in diamonds, because again the market has stabilized and there is a certain kind of resale value for diamonds. So people are slowly shifting to diamonds, and right now, currently, since the past 2 years, we're seeing a big shift of people coming into gemstones. They're investing a lot into gemstones right now, as opposed to like maybe a decade ago they were very scared about the resale value of it all. But I think people are exploring
And
a lot
I think
of
a decade ago, I think gemstones were really not in.
Yeah, very, very sparse, like something very small has been used, but nothing to this scale. Like today we have stones like opals, you have tourmalines, you have tanzanites, you have spinels, you have garnets. These are the kind of stones that people have not even heard about.
Yeah.
These are just like, well, like some random stones, but these stones are actually being used in jewelry right now. And consumers are actually looking forward for the design element of it. People previously used to just look at it as an investment, but now it is not just an investment; it's a status symbol.
Yeah.
It's something that you cherish for the rest of your life. So people are willing to invest in the design and not just for the gold. So that shift has happened in the Hyderabad market right now.
And also, do you think like the Gen Z buys jewelry differently compared to the older generations?
I think the Gen Z crowd, if you give them a necklace that has 500 grams of gold and it doesn't have a lot of detailing or specifications to that piece, I don't think the Gen Z are going to buy it. Yes, I think the Gen Z crowd wants something very new and very new age, something that is not just an investment but something that is aesthetically pleasing. So the Gen Z crowd is definitely looking for some kind of creativity, some kind of work that needs to be done in the jewelry field. So I think, and also in the last 1 decade, Hyderabad has seen a lot of growth in aspects of, there's a lot of disposable income with the crowd right now.
Hyderabad is growing in the number of billionaires.
Yes. So given the real estate boom or the IT boom in the past decade or the last 2 decades, there's a lot of disposable income with the people. So people have that kind of room to explore different designs and not just like stick to the traditional old kinds of designs. Even the Gen Z crowd are going back to the old designs, but they're also recreating it in like a very new style. They're trying to target and like experiment with their designs. And right now something that I've observed is the Gen Z crowd is very much into dainty jewelry, everyday jewelry. That was not something that was much more popular. So they want different designs and everything. Instead of investing like 1 or 2 lakhs in one piece, they'd rather invest that into like 3 or 4 pieces that they can like wear every day.
I think they're more into minimal jewelry.
Yes, they're into minimalistic jewelry, but also like they're also investing into jewelry that they can wear every day instead of like something you can take and put it in your lockers for the rest of the year or something.
So I was always very fascinated with how like this field is very creative and practical. So I really wanted to know how students spend their time the entire day on campus.
So what we essentially do here is that we don't have continuous classes throughout the day, because as you said, this is something very creative and you cannot force creativity out of you, right?
Yeah.
So essentially we have 3 batches in a day, and conveniently students can pick into any one of the batches and they can do their classes. So how we do our classes here is, first in the jewelry designing part, they will start off with something very basic. Like they'll start off with like a small gemstone, how to draw a gemstone, then to the faceting part of it, then to the coloring part of it. And through they're going to learn from a small stud to a complete bridal set at the end of it. And here we teach something called as the gauche coloring, which is essentially use gauche colors, which really gives a very realistic rendering to your pieces. And the final portfolio of the students is going to look very enticing, and it really helps them get placements and jobs in bigger brands. Like one of our students got placed into Malabar, and we have a lot of openings from here. So the portfolio at the end of the course really helps them get their brand or their it really helps them in their job journey.
Okay, and there's also a very preconceived notion that students have to be very good at drawing to be learning jewelry designing.
No, that is not true at all, because a lot of students come to us with the same concern that do I have to be very artistic, do I have to have some kind of background in designing, but you do not need anything. We will teach you everything from scratch, from a small line to a curve to a stone to a complete bridal set, how you're supposed to color it, the kind of focus that you need to have, the kind of shadowing that you need to give the jewelry piece to give it that realistic rendering. Everything is going to be taught by us from scratch, and we give the entire kit from the institute. Like the student doesn't need, once they step into the institution, the student has no need to bring anything to the table. Everything is given by the institute.
So I wanted to know how much of the course is actually classroom learning versus how much they would actually spend more time with real gemstones and diamonds.
So this is such kind of education that online learning is impossible with it. You have to be here and learn everything practically. A lot of students do ask us to provide online courses, but we know that it is not something that is feasible, or it is not something for the long term. Like they'll not be learning the subject right. If you want to learn it right, you have to do it practically, because you cannot learn the inclusions of the gemstones or the depth of your diamonds by looking at it on a screen or a piece of paper. You have to be able to practically grade, because at the end of the day, you're learning this course to make something out of it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go outside, be an entrepreneur, or like work somewhere. How are you going to do it if you do not have practical learning, right? So here we only focus on practical learning, because that is the only way this kind of education is possible.
While talking about jewelry, I feel like we cannot miss out on lab-grown diamonds versus real diamonds. So do you think the lab-grown diamonds have kind of changed the traditional real diamonds business?
Yes, definitely, because I think until lab-grown diamonds have come into the mainstream, the natural diamond prices were skyrocketing and they were seen as a very good form of investment. But as lab-grown diamonds have entered the industry, the price of natural diamonds have decreased quite a bit. But I think it's not going to last for a very long time, because I'll tell you why. A lot of retailers, as you go to them, they're going to tell you that they're going to give you 100% buyback for lab-grown diamonds as well. But 100% buyback happens for something that is scaling. But what happens in natural diamonds is that the price of it is diminishing and diminishing by the day. There's a talk in the market that soon lab-grown diamonds can be traded at the same price as the Caesar. Yes. So it doesn't really make sense that we have this debate. See, will lab-grown diamonds be completely perished from the market? No, absolutely not. They're going to be used for something else. They're going to be, let's say, designer jewelry, somebody who wants to get themselves into experimental jewelry. They can use lab-grown diamonds. Somebody that wants to create small token items, they can use lab-grown diamonds. But not as an investment. From an investment point of view, I don't think lab-grown diamonds are a great fit there.
And what factors do you usually tell people to consider before buying real diamonds?
I think a lot of people give a lot of importance to the color and the clarity, but I think the number one for me, what tops the chart is the cut. Because I think even if you go, you don't always need to buy a D color or an E color. Even if you go somewhere lower to a G, H, I, J, K, it's still fine. But if you have fire in the diamond, if you have it like an excellent cut, I think you should prefer buying an excellent cut diamond at a lower color, rather than like buy a good or a very good cut which has like a D color and like. Again, even with the clarity, you don't always need to buy a VVS1. You can also go for a VS1 or a VS2 as well. But this happens in the Hyderabad market. There's a lack of knowledge regarding this, and there's a lack of awareness. So people really don't know what to buy. A lot of people say you have to buy VVS if they are the best quality kind of diamonds. People tend to buy this, but I think even if you go for a lower color clarity, you're still going to get the same output at the end.
So before we wrap up, let's do a quick rapid fire.
Done.
Gold or diamonds?
Diamonds.
Luxury jewelry or minimalist jewelry?
Luxury jewelry.
One jewelry trend that will dominate in the future?
Gemstones.
Okay. Lab grown or natural?
Naturals.
Okay. One quality every entrepreneur should have?
Decisiveness.
One celebrity that you draw jewelry inspiration from?
Nita Ambani.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today. This conversation was genuinely very insightful, and we talked about not just jewelry but also the business aspect of it and how you are running this business. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me. I had great fun doing this.
Thank you so much for being here.